What's up, you guys? It is your favorite Aunties podcast. I am Shamarian, and this is
Nia,
the beautiful Nia.
Yes.
Girl, you looking good.
You look cute too, girl.
But how far is too far with looking good in purity culture?
Oh my. So we are talking about purity culture today. Purity culture is something big in the church culture. I feel like it was big. I feel like it was bigger like in the 90s, early 2000s. It was more because that's when I came up, with my belief system. And so we were kind of indoctrinated in what they call purity. Like I literally took purity classes. I've actually taught purity classes. And I think that we can just define it loosely as the theology that was built around abstinence, abstaining from sex until you are married. So were you a part of purity culture?
Absolutely.
And how did you become a part of it? Or like, what is your story concerning it?
So I really was kind of like always afraid of like having sex in the beginning because I didn't want to have like a kid. So that was like that was my biggest thing. That was literally that was enough for me. Like outside of like all the other things that can come along with like having sex or not come along with it, the biggest thing was like kids. I was like, yeah, I'm not ready for that, or at least especially in the very beginning, like I wasn't ready for that, and I didn't want to be a part of it. So I didn't actually have my first time until I was in college. So, and that was only because I was just not in my parents' household anymore. So I was just out in college.
So were you taught about it in church though?
Yes-ish. I think media taught me more about abstinence than the church did.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like my mom started with me really, really early, just letting me know like that you should abstain until marriage and like sex was for married people.
Right.
And so I just grew up like from little, just knowing that was what it was. And then the churches that I grew up in were always heavy on you need to abstain. And so, but it wasn't just you need to abstain. It was the whole like we said, the culture that was built around it. The way you dress, the places that you go, the music that you listen to, the way that you date, right? And so I feel like while I feel like it is still a standard that you should adhere to if you are single, I feel like there are some parts of purity culture that were detrimental.
Yes.
Detrimental to us as women, detrimental to our growth, detrimental to even, we talked about like body acceptance and self-image, because you're taught so much like cover up. Don't show this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And then you don't actually know what you can do or what you are supposed to think about yourself or what you are supposed to think about sex as a total.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so a lot of people go into it like blindsided. They have unrealistic expectations of what this should look like and what this was created for. And then also I feel like it affects like your dating life.
It does.
Because it's a large part. I feel like all they tell you about dating is don't do it.
And it's like, why? No, I mean like why are we not? Because if we're being honest about it, it feels amazing, but we shouldn't do it because of hell. You shouldn't do it because unwanted babies. You shouldn't do it because of STDs, STIs. But it's like, what is it doing to you as a person?
So at the basis of it, what do you feel like the purpose of purity is? Like, what would you say is the reason you feel like God set that standard?
That way you wouldn't compare lovers.
Okay.
Disease. Yeah. Hello. What else? If it was time for you to walk away, it would be easier to walk away. I can definitely see God's hand in telling us like, hey, you should just stick with who you're married to.
Right.
And keep it in marriage.
Right.
Like wait until you're married. Because let's say you're supposed to walk away from somebody, but you can't because she giving you that what you need. And he's giving you, what you need. But now you're stuck in this 8, 10, 12-year relationship. All because you can't walk away because y'all know each other and y'all have had so much sex or so much different type of sex. You don't want to involve yourself with somebody else. You don't want to. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
It's a lot. I think that it's definitely to protect you, but that is not what was presented to me.
Right.
And it was just a list of do's and don'ts. And it was presented as a guarantee that you were going to have this awesome marriage and God was going to send you your husband
in 30 business days.
shipping them off. Here's the tracking number. No, and it was not like that. And so just in the last couple of years, I've had to work through like some resentment and like some anger because I'm like, well, you had said that he was coming and he not here.
But did he say that? Everybody isn't guaranteed a spouse. It's not biblical.
Yes, and abstaining definitely is not a guarantee.
It's not.
But it's interesting, that I feel like those who have an intentional waiting period end up waiting the longest. Do you feel like that? I'm like, why is it like that? Why?
Don't talk to me about waiting.
Why is it like that?
I don't know what it is, but when I first started my abstinence journey, I did not intend to be here.
Me either. If you would have told me.
Oh, okay. If you would have told me that I would be on my abstinence journey as long as I am, by no means. I want y'all to hear me clearly.
By no
I am not. What I am not saying is that you should be having sex before marriage with somebody that you are not married to. I'm not saying that you should have multiple partners. I'm not saying any of that. Hear me from what I'm saying.
Yes, rightly divide.
If I would have known that it would be this long or that I would be having to practice abstinence.
Talk about it.
I think, if I'm being completely honest, I would have done. I don't think that I would have started when I did, because it's very hard to be on this abstinence journey, because I've been in this for a minute, and since I've been on my journey, it's by the grace of God, not because of all of my own decisions that I'm still that I haven't fallen, but it's literally by His grace and His mercy, because it's not like I haven't wanted to. It's not like I haven't wanted to give up.
And it's not that you can't. Let's get that straight, because I feel like
please.
I feel like a lot of people get it twisted. Yeah. It's not because we can't. Right. We are making an active decision.
Every day.
Every day.
And it gets really hard.
And nobody said anything about that.
No,
nobody were giving us this theology.
No, nobody talks to you about the desires that you have, the urges that you have
biologically, naturally.
The science of the urges that I have. Of course, I'm at the age where I'm supposed to.
Yes.
But yet I'm just.
And that's what's frustrating, that it's like those who choose to wait be waiting the longest.
And it's like,
why you be doing that?
What part of this did I sign up for? And but they don't literally, when in purity culture, they don't talk about the feelings and the urges that you'll have and how it can affect you in your dating and how it can affect you even in your marriage, because you've been abstinent. Now today is my wedding day. Bust it down.
Yeah.
Like
you gotta rewire your whole brain.
And let's say you're on your abstinence journey and you go so far as to wait until your wedding day to kiss, or y'all haven't really had.
God bless him.
Let's say y'all didn't really even touch, hold hands or really cuddle and stuff. And in one day, in one night, all of a sudden everything is okay now. Who's to say that it won't take y'all months and weeks to even get in the swing of touching each other, just even past a side church hug? Nobody talks about mentally what purity culture can do to you.
They pushed stay as far away from it as possible.
Right.
So kissing and hugging and stuff like that was a part of the, you don't need to be doing that because it's going to lead to XYZ. Now, granted, know thyself.
Know your flesh. Know your flesh. Know your flesh.
So if you can't, you can't. But for some of us who can, then it's what level of physical intimacy is okay outside of that? Because really what they pushed was none of it's okay.
Yeah.
And that whole, I had probably maybe a couple of years, in my early 20s, and we were following the purity movement, a particular movement where they waited until they were married to kiss. And so me and my young impressionable self was I had already had my first kiss, but I was okay, well, the next person I kiss will be my husband. I'm not kissing anybody else.
Wow.
Girl, if you don't sit down somewhere.
Baby. And that's fine if it worked for you, baby girl.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not even front, because I was definitely in that same movement.
Yeah. That's how we met, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we met through one of the girls. I met her at one of the conferences.
Okay, and I met her at the meetup in Houston of that group.
Okay.
So if it wasn't for that group, we wouldn't even met.
So we praise God for that promise that somebody made years ago. Then your aunties might not know each other today, but I'm glad we
has a purpose. Everything has a purpose.
Everything does. Oh, that was such a beautiful circle.
Yes.
Just even thinking about, okay.
Yes.
Anyway, like that can be super detrimental because like, okay, so if you're abstaining from like the physical touch and stuff until you're married and all that, that's amazing. Yeah. But have you talked about anything sexual prior to y'all getting like in your
because that's not okay.
But the thing is, when you go through premarital counseling, how do you know that your husband or your wife is going to be into the same type of stuff that you're into? Like if you and your partner had sex before y'all even got together, so obviously you know what it feels like. How do y'all know y'all even compatible in that way? And then you stuck in a marriage where all you were concerned about was kingdom, which, yes.
Be concerned about it.
Be concerned about it. Please hear me.
Yeah.
But still, y'all don't know anything else about each other outside of that. Like, you need to talk about these things. Now, by all means, I'm not telling y'all to have some spicy conversation. I'm not saying that.
Just the practicality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a thing. And I feel like what they did in pushing purity culture, the way it was pushed, is like they removed the practicality of it. Like it's some separate part of your life. And it's like, no, this is actually interwoven into my life. Right. Like this actually matters. Our bodies were made in a certain way for a reason. Right. And to just ignore the way that I feel and all these things, I can't just ignore it. That's setting me up for failure. Right. Let's acknowledge it and talk about it and say, hey, it's okay to feel like this.
And to all of y'all who are on this abstinence journey with us, and y'all don't have these feelings, or y'all are actually fine, baby.
God bless.
God bless. Because it really does get hard, and I really want our listeners to know it's okay if you're not okay. Because there are some days I got to call some of my friends, like, can we just go somewhere? Can we do something? Because I can't be in this house right now.
Yeah.
Like, I want you all to know that it's okay with having those urges or that you even still have them, because you're going to need them when you get married if you even desire.
And yeah, that's my thing, because I'm not praying for God to suppress or to remove. Because again, it's natural.
Right.
But I feel like the expectation is like, suppress it. Yeah. No. So then how am I supposed to unpress it?
Okay.
When it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
But like I said, that it does a lot. Like you tell us to be pure. It's time to get married. All of a sudden, how do you even know your spouse is even comfortable talking about sex? If y'all don't talk about it before, if you don't talk about, like, are y'all both going to be on this purity journey? Where are you just abstinent because I'm abstinent?
Because that's really usually the case.
Like it's this whole thing in itself. Women and men are not taught the same things in purity culture.
Not at all.
Men are taught to desire those women who haven't been with a whole bunch of women, but you still do your thing.
Yes.
Excuse me?
Come on, body count.
Like, what part of the game is that? Exactly. Like, I would love for a man that I'm dating to be abstinent too. I don't want us to be abstinent, in the dating for very long.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, getting married. I'm not saying that, we are both abstinent outside of each other, because I just want to be very clear, because sometimes talking about stuff like this, people don't get exactly what you're saying. But the full context is, like, if we're dating for a while, I'm not trying to be in my 30s in a 2-year relationship still trying to be abstinent. Like,
listen,
we need to
why
see what's
torture yourself.
If you look good to me and I'm looking good to you, come on now.
I think that too, part of the issue was a lot of people that were pushing purity culture didn't live it. Either they were single and they plain and simple weren't living it, or they were married.
Right.
So you're telling me what I feel like when I re-examine, like, the things that I was taught and the people that were teaching it, or even like the movements that we followed and stuff like that, I feel like what they were pushing is what they wish they would have done.
Right.
And what you wish you would have done versus practically walking it out are two different things.
Right.
And so you set a lot of people up for failure and disappointment because of what you wish you would have done, and you didn't know what it was actually like to do it.
With some expensive therapy bills, because they got to work through that. Your formula didn't work for them, because, like, you just said, you're one step here, just by be abstinent. That's the thing. Guarantees you a spouse on both ends. And it's like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And then if, like, let's say you do get your spouse, then what? What are y'all comfortable talking about?
Because we don't talk about it after that. Right.
And when do you talk about your abstinence? Do you talk about it while you're dating? Or how far is too far? It's like, come on, we have to find some
it's
kind of
actually
common
a big
ground.
thing that I feel like it got maximized, but it got maximized in the wrong way.
Right.
Or like it was taught, but then it was taught incompletely. So yeah, you said it and it was like, okay, well, don't. Okay, but what is the steps?
Mm-hmm.
What are how do I figure out what my boundaries are? What's okay, what's not okay? And then I feel like there's, some thoughts going around about how purity culture made women weird. And it did.
It did.
Because now you're not in touch with your sexuality.
Not.
You don't know what it is to be sexy or to just,
because
all of that is turned off.
No, see, like,
because you were taught to suppress it.
I've seen so many different videos of holiness, or like just seeing like sometimes you can spot a holiness woman out and about.
Yeah.
But and I'm not making fun.
Yeah.
Baby, please, if that's your conviction, do it.
Do it.
But I've seen them out, skirts down to their ankles. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are you wearing for your husband? Mm-hmm. What does your nightgown look like? Baby, and I have been in a church where it was holiness, 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 holiness. And that was right. And it's still right.
It is.
Hear me.
Uh-huh.
But your husbands are running around the church trying to get at the new sisters that are in. I've had different men try to approach me in a church, and I know your wife. First of all, in this church, the men and the women sit separately. Y'all are whole married. I wish my husband would try to sit clear across from me.
No way.
And it's
that's
anyway,
crazy.
I'm not gonna. Okay. I won't talk about that. But regardless, it was just very weird. Some of this purity culture is really setting people up for failure.
That's what I'm saying
in real life, because you taking this holiness and you bringing it of course, bring it everywhere. Mm-hmm. But in the wrong context, and meaning like I said, what are you wearing to bed? How are you still enticing your man? Mm-hmm. Because he's literally trying to prey on these new girls coming in because they think that they halfway saved, just because they still kind of seem like they don't know God. But it's like, no, I know the Lord for real, and I know you need to get your married self out of my face.
Right. I can know the Lord and be cute.
Right. Hello.
So, I mean, it's something that you have to think of, because it did. And I feel bad because I know a lot of women who either are abstaining or were abstaining. They have no dating life. They are waiting on the Lord.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it. Wait on God, but also participate in the process.
Yeah.
Like you got to look like something. Yeah. Let's throw a little something on, let's be presentable. Let's be approachable.
Right.
But because you're taught suppress, then it takes away all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And it like I said, it does make some of them weird.
Yeah. And I get it. Because if you're not participating in the dating process, because I know women who are unable to participate in a conversation, like they can't have a discussion back and forth. Yeah. I know women who they don't date because they feel like they shouldn't. Like they should just know off the jump if that's their husband or not.
And you are 47.
No. And they're really like late 30s, early 40s. I know women, early 40s, mid 40s, never had a boyfriend. Never been on a date.
God forbid.
Never. And I'm just like, no, but this saddens me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you deserve love.
But
also,
do.
If you're so wrapped up in your mind about being like so holy and modest and chaste, and like we were talking about, like leading with spirituality, and what about your personality? What about your fashion style? What about your sense of humor? None of that matters because I got to be holy and chaste. And
because it's like, who are you outside of that as well?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that the Lord made us as uniquely
as he did
for all of us to be the
exactly the same. Yeah.
And it's just like, if you maybe just take a chill pill, but also go in your conviction. Because by no means do we want to stop anybody from being in purity culture. But I want you to have the right posture and attitude while you're in it, and know that it's not necessarily a guarantee for a spouse.
No, it is not.
It's not necessarily a guarantee that you even living right. Because let me tell you something. You could be keeping your body and be very all out.
Asinine.
No, like in real life.
Bad attitude.
And just gossiping, backbiting, just living life how you want to live life, stealing. And the only thing you're doing is keeping your legs closed. You're still a terrible person.
Exactly.
So don't think purity is just, it's just the way to go.
It doesn't make you better than anybody.
So
it doesn't make you better than anybody. It's very honorable. And I think it should definitely be held in high regard. And I feel like in this culture, it is not. Like, we're the weirdos for not wanting to just be out here wilding. Yeah. But it's something to be honored, but it doesn't make you better than anybody.
But I can't even sit up here and act like I didn't have my chest poked out in the beginning
absolutely.
of my abstinence journey. Like,
I did the same thing.
Not having sex. You're not going to be able to do it with me. Unless you put a ring on it. Like, no, I'm that girl. I'm still that girl. Yes. But I don't have that same mindset of like, oh, I'm really doing it. This has a way of humbling you as well.
Yeah, I definitely, one of my regrets was not having the right mindset. Like I said, I still believe it's honorable, but my mindset kind of, when I was like late teens, early 20s, was like, I'm doing this to get a husband.
Yes.
Doing it for the Lord. What? Yeah, like, for the Lord. Like, but also.
But yeah, by all means, I still do want to get
married. Like, this is for the ring. Like,
but that's what we were taught.
Yes, it is. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was just a huge regret that, not that I participated in purity culture, but that I just didn't have the right intentions. But it's because of what I was fed about why you should do it, and most of it was centered around doing it for marriage, and all of it was about marriage, when it should have been centered around you. You are doing this. You are making this decision because you want to be pleasing to the Lord, because you want to protect yourself. You want to protect your heart. You want to protect your body. You want to protect your mind. Yeah. It's about you. It's not about that. And it's not about somebody else. Yes. Yes. And you can see in the culture why the Lord would have it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's playing out in front of our faces every day. That's easy to see. But it's just, I just want to have the right mindset concerning it.
So what I'm hearing you say is some advice that you would give men and women is, when you're starting your abstinence journey or along your abstinence journey, if you're already on it, is to check your heart.
Yes.
Check your motive.
Absolutely.
Because if your heart is far from God and you're just doing it because you think that it's X, Y, and Z, I don't want to say you might as well be doing it. But
they would be like, yes, you're right.
But like,
is
if you're doing it because of X, Y, and Z,
you gotta
know your why.
Yeah. If you want a hand clap, you ain't gonna get it. You want some accolades, you're not gonna get it. You want a ring, you may not get it. So why are you doing it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have moments. I've texted you before and be like, why am I doing this? No, like, for real, because you have those moments where it's like, wait a minute, let me get back to the basics. Why am I doing this again?
And then I be like, because these men are stupid. Because even if you did decide to give up, what would you be giving it up to?
Right.
And it's you still have to, and you gotta have somebody along in this walk with you to help you, because like there are times when you do have to call and text, like, bruh, in just about 3 more minutes.
That part, I'm in this car.
I'm about to call him. and you don't want it to be like that. But if it is, know that you're not alone. Know that you don't need to suffer in silence or anything like that, because there are other young women and young men who are going through this abstinence journey with you, who know what it's like. Because it's not for the faint of heart. It's not.
And everybody doesn't understand. And what was surprising to me, and I'm just not taken aback by it anymore, is talking to people who are like saved or ministers or pastors, and they're not abstaining and they're not married. And at first it was just shocking to me, like, wait.
They're not trying. Like, it's not
they're not even trying. Like, it's not a thing at all.
Like, no.
And it was just shocking to me at first, like, wait, y'all really not?
Yeah.
Like,
so wait,
I thought we was.
So you mean to tell me I'm holding out?
Oh, man.
And you not holding out?
I didn't know for years. I'm thinking we in this together.
But that's the honor system. That's the honor code, thinking that everybody is all on the same timeline, and we're not.
Right.
Everybody is not on the same timeline, and they walk. And it's just really that simple. And as much as we would want whole leaders in the church, whole leader, archbishops, lead apostles, lead prophets, lead evangelists, lead handmaidens, what's the other fivefold?
Apostle, pastor, teacher, evangelist.
No, like we're thinking that everybody is upholding this, and the truth of the matter is they're not, and they're still getting married.
Yeah,
doing it up until
no condemnation. Like, we're not condemning anybody. I'm just saying my thought process was that we were all in this, doing this because this was the standard. Yeah, yeah, that part. What was that? High School Musical? And we weren't, and I was just so shocked. And now I'm just not surprised by it at all.
I do really wish that there was an understanding and that more people would talk about just their real issues as it relates to waiting and abstaining, and we not just make it this cookie cutter thing. Mm-hmm. By all means, we are absolutely encouraging you to abstain and to wait on God and to not be weird in the midst.
Please don't be weird.
Giving us like a bad name. But just know that you're not alone. Yeah. You're not alone in this, and the feelings that you feel are understandable. They are normal and natural. Mm-hmm. And to surround yourself with people who understand what you're going through, have a desire to understand what you're going through, and remember to have a right heart.
Absolutely. Check the motives, check the intention. I think that's the most important part, because if you don't have that right, it makes it that much harder. Right. You know what I mean? Remembering why you are doing this, and remember it's for you. Yeah. That way you won't be disappointed, because if you're trying to get a cookie from the Lord because you did the right thing, this is not your sticker for good behavior. Like, it doesn't happen like that. Well, you know what? For some people, maybe it does. For us, it did not happen that way.
But when it does, it's going to happen quick.
So I thought, purity culture was important to talk about, because we both kind of grew up in it and are participating in it right now. Yeah. And it's just something that's important to our Christian walk. If you're single and you're not, we encourage you to. Yeah. You know, and if you're single and you are,
maybe more
keep the faith.
Keep hoping.
But that was an awesome episode. I'm sure we're going to talk about it again, because absolutely, as always, we can't never talk about everything we want to talk about in one sitting.
But we do want to know what you all have to say. So please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and YouTube, because I know y'all want to see our faces. You know you want to see the aunties expressions. But to our listeners, we do want to say thank you for tuning in. We truly, truly appreciate you all. We love you.
Yes, and we will see you on the next episode of your favorite
Aunties podcast. Bye, guys.